My hope is that you have the Inventor software installed and you're at the point where you're ready to start making your first part. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make this donut. And I'm going to show you multiple ways to make it happen. And our main thing is we're just seeing how the software works. We're not terribly worried about accuracy or the purpose of our part as much as just sort of interacting with the software. And so let's go up here and we'll select New. We're going to open up a standard IPT, and that's just a part file. And so that part goes into the assemblies, which goes into drawing files, and we'll get to that with time. But let's just start with part. We'll select Create. And a good rule of thumb here is that you're always going to have to work in 2D rather than 3D first. And so we have our 3D models, which are all cool, but we're going to have to start with sketches first. And so I'm going to go in here and select Circle. And I see this Cartesian coordinate plane set up. It's just like what you see in math. And so I've got like the XY plane and the YZ plane and the XZ plane. And so I'm going to start by selecting my XY plane. And then I'm going to draw my circle just right over here. I'm going to click here and then drag out. And so once I'm done dragging, I right click and I select OK, and notice it deselected my circle for me there. So now I'm going to add a line. Click here, add my line. Notice I'm able to get right on that origin. And right now I have it to where you see that I have 90 degrees and I have the distance, and I've got this little icon right there of a line and sort of like a saw blade. That's constraining that line to be 90 degrees. So I'm going to select that and click OK to get out of the tool. And now I notice I've got two things that are very apparent. One, that I don't have the right size, and two, that the color of the sketches are different. And so let's get everything on the screen. So we're going to click Front. And what we need to know is that my line here is fully constrained. Like, I can move it up and down and change the length, but I can't move it from this origin point at all, because I locked it in when I started there, and then by adding that constraint where it's vertical, it's not going to change. And so let's set its length real quick. So I'm going to select Dimension, click on the line, move over, select again, and let's just make that 1 inch. Now, I am in the situation where I can move my circle anywhere I want, right? And so let's go and add a constraint to it, which is going to lock it in to Y0. So I'm going to select the center of my circle, and I'm going to select the bottom or my origin right there. And now it's locked into where it can't really move anywhere else besides on that line. So if I add dimension here, so I select a dimension, select that circle dot, select right there, and then I'm going to pull away. Now let's go and put 1.25 and select check. And so now you notice my little dot right there is black. So it's fully constrained. I can't move this. I can change the size of it. Oh, still in dimension, aren't I? I can change the size of it, but I can't change its location at all. So let's go ahead and select dimension. We're going to make the size that circle constrained. So let's just go 1 inch. Right? And now I have everything in my sketch is black, so I know that I'm able to move on with my part. I'm going to select Finish Sketch. And now, just to get everything in view, I'm going to click right there in the corner, or I can click my home to get everything into view. So now I've sufficiently made this in 3D, and I'm going to go, 2D, I'm going to go into 3D. So I'm going to revolve, and what it's asking for is a profile and an axis. So I'm going to select my profile here, and then I'm going to go over here and select my axis. There's other features I can do here, so I can like bring it to only an angle if I desire, but in this situation I want it to be full. So we can select OK. So that's one way to make it happen. I can go through here and change my material. So if it's a really hard donut, I can set it to be wood. And if I want to change it to another color, I can set it to beige if I so desire. Right? So let's look at the other way real quick. I'm going to click on New again and select the standard IPT, select Create. So again, I've got to work in my 2D first, so I'm going to select Sketch and Circle. But this time I'm going to start my circle right on the origin and pull out. Right? And I'm going to dimension it. So now that's 4. I'll select enter. And then I'm going to make a second circle right here. And I'm going to dimension that. I'm going to select 2. Notice they both were kind of scaled bad. So I'm going to go over here and click on my top so it comes back into view. And now what I need to do is I need to extrude my part. So I'm going to go to 3D model, select extrude. And again, it's asking me for a profile. So I'm going to select there, and I'll select my donut section. And I can change my distance if I desire. In this situation, I don't. So I'm going to select OK. I'm going to click home to bring everything in. And it doesn't really have nice round edges, so I'm going to add those real quick. So in my 3D panel, I can modify my part over here with my fillet tool. So I'm going to select fillet, and I'm going to click on an edge, and we'll see that if I change the radius, like 0.4, it's actually rounding that edge off, right? So if I select the other edges here, it will now round off all the other parts, all the other edges. And so I've got that round shape, that donut shape I was looking for. I'm going to go through and add in my wood again, just to set a material, and my beige to set a color. And now I have my part pretty much completed. And so I'm going to show you one more thing, which is just this navigation tool over here. I can grab this and move it around if I desire, right? And it will sort of rotate. But the most useful one right here is my orbital. So if I select there, it adds a pivot point to where I can move my part around really nice. Or I can rotate on the outside and it will rotate sort of like a disc right in that location. But really in any situation, as long as I can go over here and click home, I can get back to where I wanted. So good luck, and I hope that works for you, and have a good time.